Today we're going back to basics with some seasoned rice. Hurricane Melissa was crazy, and a lot of us in the most affected areas still don't have power. Probably won't for a while. That changes how we cook. With unreliable refrigeration, you end up using a lot more non-perishable foods. I've got a few ingredients I picked up before the hurricane that I want to use before they go bad. Seasoned rice is a straightforward one-pot dish. Quick, efficient, and perfect for times like this. You might hear a loud noise in the background. That's just the gas generator running, so bear with me. Alright, let's get our veggies prepped. I'm using 3 small cloves of garlic. Just going to chop them up. One of the biggest effects of Melissa in the coming months will be the limited availability of fresh produce. The hurricane hit St. Elizabeth particularly hard. That's our breadbasket parish, the main source of fresh fruits and vegetables across Jamaica. Right now, pretty much all of it is wiped out. I also need an onion. Just going to slice it, but however you cut it is fine. These will be cooking for a bit. I've got 3 plum tomatoes that I'm going to dice. After Hurricane Beryl in 2024, tomatoes were more than 2 to 3 times the price of chicken by weight. Now with Hurricane Melissa, the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries is allocating funds to import essential fruits and vegetables to fill the gap until local farms recover. They're also supporting farmers to rebuild farmland, rehabilitate land, and replant. All of this was done after Beryl as well, and even then we still saw crazy prices. Recovery isn't immediate. Many staple crops take months to grow and import supplies can face disruptions. So, based on what happened after Beryl, even with relief measures in place, we can expect high prices and limited availability for a lot of vegetables. I want a bit of spice, so here I have a Trinidad pimento pepper. These give a warm, mild heat with a ton of aromatic flavor. I would usually use a Scotch bonnet, but I ran out and I won't be able to find any for a while. That's really it for aromatics. I also have some canned corn I'm going to use up. Seasoned rice usually have some kind of protein, but it's not required. Today I'm using Italian sausage. Even though it says Italian, it was made here in Jamaica by CPJ. Earlier I mentioned non-perishables, and sausages are not that. But I had this on hand and wanted to use it up. Seasoned rice really varies. It's a one-pot dish that's mostly about using whatever you have on hand. Common non-perishables include saltfish, which is cleaned, desalted, and cooked with the rice. Tin mackerel was something I had sometimes growing up, and people also use corned beef or even sardines. Basically, you can use whatever protein you like or skip it entirely. Italian-style sausages are usually coarse ground with a good amount of fat. That fat makes them juicy and flavorful when cooked. A bit greasy, yes, but we're going to use that to our advantage in this recipe. I'm going to dice these before we do anything else. The package has roughly 10.5 ounces of sausage and I'm using all of it. Once diced, we can start by sauteing them. They go into a cold pan, no oil needed. I'm just going to cook them until they release some of that grease and juice. These smell bomb. Italian sausages are usually well seasoned and these are no exception. If I was using any other protein, I would still saute it or brown it first to build up those deep savory flavors. For the best taste, I'm going to really let these brown up before we move on. Once I have that beautiful color, I'm going to remove them from the pan. Now, what's left behind is a super flavorful bit of oil that we can take advantage of. Next, going with those onion and garlic we prepped earlier. I'm going to saute these a bit to soften them up. The diced tomatoes go in next. The water from the tomato will help to deglaze the pan and capture all of that flavor. Let that cook down before moving to the next step. I don't remember anyone doing seasoned rice with tomatoes, but it does add some deep savory flavor and a beautiful color. Up next, I have a couple bay leaf and about a teaspoon of whole dried pimento or allspice. These give us extra depth and flavor. Our hot pepper going next, followed by the kernel corn. This is close to a cup. Peas, beans or other veggies can also be added to make it more substantial and boost the nutritional value. I'm just cooking this off for another few minutes just so those flavors can really melt. That looks good. So now let's go in with a cup of coconut milk. This is going to up the richness of the dish and give us that beautiful coconut flavor in the background. That's coming together really well and it smells amazing. When cooking with coconut milk, simmering for a few minutes really transforms its flavor and bring out that nuttiness. So give this about 5 minutes. Ooh, that is nice. It's reduced a bit, but now is the time when we go in with a cup and a half of washed rice. I'm using plain long grain white rice, but feel free to mix it up. This will need a bit more liquid, so I'm just adding some water. I'm doing this part purely based off feel. For a lot of people, rice can be tricky with getting the water ratio right. It's much more challenging when working with a dish like this that has a lot of other ingredients as well as coconut milk. The rice will actually absorb water from those other ingredients, so I'm just making sure it's barely submerged. Once that's set, I'm going to season with salt and black pepper. We haven't added back the sausages as yet and those are properly seasoned, so I'm bearing that in mind. Give that a quick taste. Could use another little pinch of salt, still kinda fresh. Finally, we can go in with our delicious brown sausages. As these cook, they'll slowly release even more flavor into the rice. Next, I'm going to cover that up and let it steam on low for a good 20 minutes. And it's done. Once the steam clears, we can see how incredible this looks. First things first, let's fluff this. This smells amazing. That's a beautiful bowl, but let's actually taste this to see how we did. The rice is perfectly cooked. Tender grains that still separate nicely. The aroma coming off this is mouth-watering. That is it. That is a satisfying bite. Rich nutty coconut flavor. That sausage is savory and meaty. The corn is a great addition, and even though this is rich, it's perfectly balanced to where you can eat an entire bowl and feel full and satisfied at the end of it. This is incredible. It's amazing what you can do with a few ingredients and a bit of patience. After Hurricane Melissa, with power out and fresh produce scarce, meals like this are even more important. Quick, filling and made with what you have on hand. That's post-hurricane cooking. Practical, flavorful and getting the most out of what's available. I'm Nick, this has been delicious. Thanks for your well wishes, thanks for watching and I will catch you in the next one. Bless up.